Have you ever scraped your knee or gotten a paper cut and found yourself wondering, how does that actually heal? When your skin is injured, it launches a highly coordinated repair process to restore its structure and function. And whether it's a shallow scrape or a deep cut, your skin has a plan. Hi, I'm Dr. Vanessa, and this is my channel, Learning Biology with Dr. Vanessa. My mission is to make science not just accessible and easy to understand, but truly meaningful, so that you can learn how your body works and use that knowledge to make informed decisions about your health and future. If you've been finding these lessons helpful, I'd love your support. Be sure to subscribe to join a community that values clear, accurate, and empowering biology education. Your support helps keep this content coming, and I truly appreciate it. Today, we're going to dive into how your skin heals itself, covering both epidermal wound healing and deep wound healing step by step. Let's start with epidermal wound healing. This is the process your body uses to repair minor surface injuries that affect only the epidermis, the outermost layer of your skin. Even if the center of that wound dips slightly into the dermis, injuries like abrasions where just your skin is scraped off or minor burns typically involve damage that mostly affects those epidermal cells. When this happens, basal cells at the edge of the wound detach from the basement membrane, enlarge, and begin to migrate across the wound to cover the exposed area. This movement continues until cells migrating from opposite sides meet in the middle. At that point, a mechanism called contact inhibition tells the cells to stop moving. Once the wound is covered, epidermal growth factor stimulates those basal cells to divide, replacing the ones that migrated and rebuilding the multiple layers of the epidermis. This entire process is relatively fast and doesn't result in bleeding or scarring because there's no damage to the underlying dermis or blood vessels. Deep wound healing occurs when an injury goes through the dermis or even deeper, like cuts, punctures, or surgical wounds. Since multiple layers are affected, all of these layers need to be repaired, so the healing process is more complex and longer than epidermal wound healing. Deep wound healing occurs in 4 phases: an inflammatory phase, a migratory phase, a proliferative phase, and a maturation phase. Let's start with the inflammatory phase. Right after the injury, blood vessels are going to rupture, and this triggers the formation of a blood clot to stop bleeding and temporarily seal the wound by uniting the edges together. This phase brings the classic signs of inflammation, including redness, swelling, heat, and pain, as blood vessels dilate and blood flow increases to the area so that immune cells come over to the area to assist. White blood cells, like neutrophils and macrophages, are going to help clean up those pathogens, damaged cells, and debris. Then we move into the migratory phase. In the migratory phase, the clot hardens into a scab, protecting the wound as the repair begins underneath it. Fibroblasts are going to migrate into the area and start producing scar tissue that's made of collagen fibers and glycoproteins. At the same time, damaged blood vessels are going to begin to regenerate, and the clot is slowly replaced by granulation tissue, which is a soft, pink, bumpy tissue that fills the wound. And then we move into the proliferative phase, where the rebuilding process is going to ramp up. Epithelial cells are going to proliferate beneath the scab to cover the wound, while fibroblasts are going to continue laying down that collagen to strengthen the tissue. Capillaries continue to grow into the area to support the high metabolic demands of these healing and growing cells. This is when the wound begins to visibly shrink and fill in. And then finally, we come to the maturation or remodeling phase. This is where the scab falls off once the epidermis returns to its normal thickness. Collagen fibers are going to reorganize along tension lines to increase strength. Fibroblasts decrease in number, and capillaries are restored to normal. This remodeling can take weeks to months, depending on the severity of the injury. The process of scar tissue formation is called fibrosis. If the wound heals efficiently, the resulting scar is flat and pale. But sometimes, excess collagen leads to a scar that is raised above the normal epidermal surface. This is called a hypertrophic scar. If it grows beyond the wound's original boundaries, it's called a keloid scar. Unlike normal skin, scar tissue lacks many of the original features, such as glands, hair follicles, and full strength and flexibility, making it functionally different even after the healing process is complete. Wound healing is a perfect example of your body's ability to repair itself, and it's guided by precise cellular signals and cooperation between tissues. But healing doesn't always mean returning to good as new. Scar tissue, while protective, reminds us that the body prioritizes closure and defense over perfect restoration. If this video was helpful, make sure to give it a like and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe and allow notifications so that you never miss out on new content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.